Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. My name is Laura DiMaria, and I serve on the Board of Directors of L'Arche Greater Washington, D.C.
And I'm Laura Kabuka. I'm an artist at Arlington Rivers, and I love cooking, baking, and anime. It is an honor to be with you and everyone here. We love to know where everyone is joining from tonight. Say hello in the chat box down below and shut up.
So we got a lot of responses already. People were already telling us. I see St. Paul, Minnesota. We've got some Arlington folks, Denver, Colorado. I think I saw someone in New York, Silver Spring, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Welcome, everybody. Ooh, someone's watching there with their mom. This is good. It's a family affair this evening. So Lori and I are joining you from where I live in Arlington, Virginia, and we are just happy to be together after a couple of years of not being together. So Lori and I, how long have you and I known each other? How many years do you think? 4, maybe 5? 5. Okay. So we've known each other for a couple of years, and like Lori, she told you that she loves cooking and baking and anime. And I also love cooking and baking. I didn't know anything about anime before I met Lori. So in addition to being friends together, we've also been able to learn together, which has been a wonderful thing. And so as we move into our evening this evening, a few practical things for you to know. So tonight we are on Zoom webinar, which is different from your typical Zoom meeting, and your video will not be featured during this event. You will, however, get to see some of the members of our L'Arche Greater Washington, D.C. community. And if you have questions during the program, you can use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen or email us at info@larchegwdc.org, and that email address will also be in the chat. So we also have closed captions available, which you can open from the bottom of your screen by clicking the CC button that says Live Transcript. If you don't see it, click the button with the 3 dots that says More, and it will show up. We are also broadcasting on Facebook Live, so welcome to anyone who's joining us from there. And if you RSVP'd early, you may have received a paper program in the mail that looks like this, and you will also see a link to the PDF program in the chat. And so feel free to follow along tonight using either version of the program.
2 questions of life. Deborah, a co-member at the house, will lead us in an opening prayer. Deborah?
Did you want to start with the Lord's Prayer? You know what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Should we say it together?
Yes.
Our Father,
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Deb.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Deborah. And as much as we'd like to introduce every person who is part of this transformative community, we also know folks want to go to bed eventually. So we'll just share a quick hello from each of our L'Arche homes.
Starting with my house in Arlington, Virginia, 66th Street.
Hi.
Hello. What up?
86th Street. Hi. And from around the corner at Highland House.
Hi.
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 Hello. Hello. And now Euclid House in DC.
Hi, Euclid.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you for coming.
And last but not least, from the home that we first founded, Ontario House.
Hi, everybody. Hola.
Yeah.
Our theme for this year event is the light of love. Laura, how will you talk about the light of love?
So that's a very good question. So our theme is the light of L'Arche. And how do I think about the light of L'Arche? So for me, the most important thing always about this community is the relationships. And over the past few years, really understanding how important those relationships are and how it's possible and important to maintain them even when things are hard. And it's even more important to do it when things are hard. So that's to me the light that I really get from L'Arche. And how about you, Laurie? What's the light of L'Arche to you?
It's like making people happy and helping with everyone. It's joy and laughter. You feel like a wind. It feels like a heart for the light of love. You have to follow your heart.
The light of L'Arche, you have to follow your heart. Very wise words, of course, from, as usual, from Laurie. So in true L'Arche fashion, we will take any opportunity to grow in relationship. So we'd like to hear from you all in the audience. If you're on Zoom, you can type your response in the chat. And we'd like to know about something that has brought you light over the past year. So just check out the chat. Let us know, answer to the question, what has brought you light over the past year? We'd love to hear your answers. FaceTiming with Hazel. Seeing friends again. Remembering Andrew. Cooking good food. Celebrations outside. Our dog, Ernie. I hope Ernie is watching tonight. Dogs, welcome. Being with family and a new baby, granddaughters, family and friends. Being together in person, definitely. Going back to visit the L'Arche homes, certainly. Grandkids, Charles's birthday party. For those of you who don't know, Charles recently had a birthday party and a birthday. And receiving the postcard, which I believe that person means this nice little postcard that L'Arche sent out to everyone. So those are lovely answers. So thank you everyone for taking a moment. We didn't read all of them. And if you still got one to put in there, feel free to put it in, because it's also really nice to hear people's answers and responses too, and to feel a little bit of joy from learning how other people have found light in their lives in the last year. So thank you, everybody. Okay, so a little bit of an intro. Some of you joining tonight have known L'Arche Greater Washington, D.C. for years, and I'm sure could share countless stories about our way of life. We are a storytelling community after all. But for those for whom this is your first time at L'Arche, we'd like to first say welcome and share a bit about who we are and what we do. So L'Arche Greater Washington, D.C. is a community of people with and without intellectual disabilities sharing life together. We celebrate the unique value of every person and build relationships that transform us all.
Members like myself lead L'Arche in building relationships with our neighbors, church, and communities. We'll teach others about friendship, disability, and what more vibrant world can look like.
A more fabulous world. So as a 501c3 nonprofit, L'Arche Greater Washington, D.C. provides housing and support services to adults with intellectual disabilities. We model inclusion through our daily life, whether that be walking hand in hand to our favorite restaurant, running errands together, or advocating at a town hall for more accessible building entrances.
As Charles often tells us, L'Arche is a family for many. We laugh, learn, grow, and are sad together. And as you will see, we'll take extra care to be silly together.
We like to be silly together. It's true. We are unique among residential providers in that core members and assistants choose to live together in family-style homes. Being part of our neighborhood is also important to us and points back to our mission of creating a more human society.
our lives are full of welcome, prayer, celebration, and forgiveness. This year has been very hard, really practice to know the there is still a light in the darkness. We like to share a little of our light with your thoughts this video.
I don't think there is an average day at L'Arche. Part of the work of L'Arche is to recognize that what we live is not average. It's extraordinary through doing the ordinary, sharing life.
It's like family.
L'Arche gives me the same feeling of being held that I feel when I walk into my family's home.
Everybody's looking out for each other. It's like a team sport. We're all a part of a team. The goal is to just enjoy life, enhance each other's life, keep each other healthy, safe.
We FaceTime each other when we can't be together.
We're all brothers and sisters. We all love each other and give hugs.
I didn't come from a family who ate every single meal together around the table at night, and it was so startling and striking in a really good way to be together. And it's not to paint like a perfect picture, it's more so just to express the chance to be real with each other, hear about each other's day. That is the places of joy for me.
L'Arche is my family now. You are all the people that I choose to spend every day with, to spend the good moments, the hard moments, and the goofy moments, which are some of my favorites.
There's no judgment-free zone. You know, you're just free to be who you are, how you are, when you are.
One way we take care of each other is that we keep laughter in the house.
Oh yeah,
We come as we are and we cheer each other on.
that's right.
That's right.
We love to go out and find adventure.
We have fun together.
Going out into the community with core members and enjoying activities brings a lot of joy out in me, and I enjoy doing it.
Families do that. All go out and do things together.
Being outside, going out, is such a big part of L'Arche. It can be simply flying a kite, trying to get the kite out of the tree. So often in the lives of people with intellectual disabilities, they've been hidden away. We can hide away so many parts of our lives that are vulnerable and that are tender because we are embarrassed and because we think that other people don't want to see that. To be human is to be able to say, this is me, and these are the people I'm with, these are the relationships I'm with, and they're important. And the important things we do publicly. We bring light to them.
L'Arche truly is a light in the dark. Times can be really hard, and for many people, we're searching for a sign of hope, and we're searching for community. And through dark times, through difficulties, L'Arche can be that light. And we see that light in our everyday interactions. We see that in how we care for each other and how no one gets left behind.
I think about L'Arche shining a light in so many different dark parts of our world, and so many different parts of our experience of our own personal humanity, our vulnerabilities, our fragilities. The biggest need is to create a world where people with intellectual disabilities are welcomed and needed and known in a meaningful way.
I see the light of L'Arche in my home and people.
I see the light of L'Arche in evening prayer.
I see the light and help in enhancing people's lives.
The light of L'Arche is being
And together.
Love has given me a lot of hope, joy, beauty, friendship, life, and light like a beautiful peace on earth.
Honestly, this is genuinely a magical place.
It's like a candle, it glows. It's the way the world should be.
Thank you all for watching. That with us here to share more about what we've been up lately is Luke. Welcome, Luke.
Hey Laurie, thank you. It's good to be with you. Hi everyone, my name is Luke Smith and I'm the Community Leader and Executive Director of L'Arche Greater Washington, DC. I first heard of L'Arche when I was about 12 or 13 years old. I grew up in a town of Wolverhampton in the middle of England. And our motto in Wolverhampton is out of darkness cometh light. L'Arche was the light I needed when I think about a place of home. L'Arche offered that. Something I was reading and hearing about. And many years later, I experienced the light of L'Arche when I was welcomed as an assistant to 6th Street, High 6th Street. I think often of the Van Morrison song you heard when you entered into this space today. The song is titled, Whenever God Shines His Light. And it starts with the lyrics, whenever God shines his light on me, opens my eyes so I can see. When I look up in the darkest night, and I know everything's going to be all right. So what does the light of L'Arche mean? As I think about the light of L'Arche, I think of what provides the fuel for the light, what sparks the light, and the impact of sharing that light. So what provides the fuel for our light, the potential, the energy? That's relationship. Relationships with core members, assistants, donors, summer volunteers, friends, neighbors, partners, relationships with long-term friends we have had since 1983 when we were founded. Friends who keep showing up, living daily life with us. The new friend who likes what we post on social media or heard about us from a college course and came to spend a summer. The neighbor who stops by to look at the little free library at 6th Street or to wave at Hazel as she sits on Highland's front porch. We prioritize connecting with each other. Our relationships fuel us. Our encounters of one another, especially with core members, are the spark that ignite the flame. Eric, hey Eric, is a core member and will sometimes choose to pray twice during the prayers of the faithful at his church, which for some of us, myself included, isn't the norm. But thanks to his example, others, and myself included, feel free to pray as we need, even if it's outside the usual structures. So thanks, Eric. At L'Arche, we're invited to go beyond the confines of what we think is normal. We can do things differently, and we so often need to do different things and things differently. We are invited to imagine something different when we see one of your videos, Joseph, or Charles, your drawings of people, or when we take part in an impromptu dance party, or simply run errands together. Like I mentioned in the video, people with intellectual disabilities are too often hidden away. But you don't hide away a light. You place it somewhere you can shine. You spread it. We encounter one another, and the light sparks forward, onward from person to person. These last months, several core members have been able to return to day programs and jobs after many months away. We've been on house vacations together. We've returned to our churches. Simply spreading the light by being present as a community. So how does this light impact us? How does the light of L'Arche impact us? In the brilliance of that light, we can see our world differently. Our hearts and minds are changed. L'Arche offers a light which chases away darkness, that can remove the fear of, am I going to belong? Am I going to be known and needed? In the light of L'Arche, we can find the opportunity to live full lives, to grow, to be called into meaningful, lifelong relationships. The teenager Luke needed that, needed to be seen and known and have positive meaning. And L'Arche offered this. Light can also reveal what the issues we should advocate around, such as the advocacy we did together for vaccine access for people with intellectual disabilities and their support providers together. or when core members lead us to advocate for more accessible sidewalks in our community. This past year, we spoke to over 1,000 people, about our mission, our model, and disability rights. We found new ways to tell our stories, such as hosting virtual events to discuss important issues like employment and disability, to share our spirituality. And we hold these issues up to the light, and together we can see how we can build a more human society. So the Light of L'Arche is one of warmth and welcome. It invites each of us to bring our whole self, to sit a while with one another, to relax a while. We not only invite you to be with us, but we need you, each one of you, to be with us. We need your prayers, your thoughts, your attention, your visits, your dropped off dinners. We need your FaceTime calls, your cheesy jokes. We look for you in our birthday car parades. We want to see you as we fly our kites and as we go on walks and stand in the line at McDonald's. We want your ideas and your voices speaking into our lives. We don't just need our oldest and dearest friends, but also those of you who are hearing for us for the first time. The Light of L'Arche in the DC area is strong and vibrant, and we welcome each of you to be part of it. I have the task this evening of introducing our speaker. And I just shared about the relationships we build, including some with our summer volunteers. Some only come for one summer, and others come for a summer and stay for a long time, learning and growing with us. And this evening, I'm delighted, truly delighted, to introduce to you all one of our longtime learners, our very own L'Arche Doctor, Dr. Yuko Gibson. Yuko will be sharing tonight via a pre-recorded video because she, after all, is a family medicine doctor in residency, and so is very busy. Yuko came to L'Arche from the University of Notre Dame and now lives in Pittsburgh with her husband, Sean, who she also met at L'Arche, and their two beautiful boys. So let's hear from Yuko.
It is truly an honor to be able to speak with you and to share these stories. In just a few weeks, I will mark a decade since I walked up to the front steps of L'Arche Greater Washington, D.C.'s 6th Street home for the first time. It was Memorial Day in 2012, and I had just finished my sophomore year of college. My parents were dropping me off for 8 weeks as a summer volunteer, and a core family member at L'Arche was on the steps to greet us. I imagine many of you who know Charles have experienced a similar greeting. I'm Charles Clark, L'Arche Representative, USA. We shook hands, and I was welcomed home. It is no exaggeration to say that my time at L'Arche Greater Washington, D.C., first 8 weeks, then 2 years of living in community, has shaped every facet of my life since. I'm currently a resident physician, halfway through my 3-year postgraduate training in family medicine. I'm a wife and a mom, a friend and a daughter, a sister and a neighbor, and every relationship in my life is informed by the love and generosity I experienced at L'Arche. As a summer volunteer, another core family member introduced me to Bozo the Clown. Francine led marches around the kitchen island with Bozo's theme music playing in the background, and we watched episodes of the old Bozo TV show together. I had no intrinsic interest in Bozo the Clown, but I spent a lot of time learning about him because I quickly came to love Francine. Over the course of that summer, I realized this willingness to enter into an unfamiliar world and learn its contours, characters, and language, not for my own sake, but for the sake of someone I loved, was something I had never learned to do with my own family. One of my brother's great loves is professional wrestling, and since age 4, he has dreamed about being in the WWE. I often tuned him out when he talked about his dreams, because I didn't care about professional wrestling. But after recognizing that knowing Bozo the Clown helped me to better know and love Francine, I started paying more attention. It has changed my relationship with my brother. And I think of this every day as my now 3-year-old son crashes through our home, sword fighting with trash monsters and T-Rexes. I never imagined I would need to learn so many dinosaur names or answer so many questions about trash and recycling. But my willingness to enter into the things that bring him joy brings us closer together. Francine and Bozo gave me this gift. Later, as an assistant, I had the opportunity to help accompany core family members to doctors and dentist appointments. Many of my housemates unfortunately had poor or even traumatic experiences with medical care in the past. And often I benefited from seeing the fruit of many years of searching and building relationships with physicians who could best meet their needs. I remember going with a housemate to have an imaging study done when she was very uncomfortable with the position in which the study was typically performed. She voiced her unwillingness to lie down for the test, and ultimately she was able to have the test performed sitting up instead. I often think of her advocacy in this experience with my own patients, both in and out of the hospital, when someone questions my initial approach, or the way that something has always been done. All the knowledge in the world about diagnostic tests, medications, or therapies is useless unless I can meet the patient where they are and offer solutions that make sense in the context of their lives. There are so many other practices and lessons, big and small, that I learned at L'Arche and carry into my daily life. I text my friends on their birthdays to share with them the ways their unique strengths enrich my life. A version of celebrating someone's gifts on their birthday at L'Arche. As a physician, I prioritize speaking directly to my patients and never skipping directly to a caretaker, though I deeply value the support of family members and caretakers in appointments. I ask for forgiveness from my family members and colleagues on a daily basis, something I practice routinely while living in community. I hope when my boys are old enough, we can take the time to pray together after dinner, to name our daily gratitude and petitions aloud, like I learned to do while passing the candle around the table at 6th Street. Life at L'Arche Greater Washington, D.C. can sometimes seem idyllic and set apart from the rest of the world, but I truly believe that all of us can and should live like L'Arche. L'Arche is a place of unmatched generosity, where I was welcomed and invested in and offered grace upon grace as I struggled and grew. It is a place of hospitality, where there is always room for one more at the table. It is a place of great vulnerability, as people who start as strangers choose to share the intimacy of caring for each other's bodies and spirits. It is a place where people and relationships are truly prioritized, a place of safety and of radical love. As Charles, Francine, Bruce, Lori, and so many others opened their lives to me, I was transformed in a way that shapes my daily life a decade later, and I hope for all my days. The way of life I found possible at L'Arche remains the standard against which I measure all I do, and for this I will always be grateful.
Thank you, Yuko. The L'Arche community is a true sign of hope, and as we have seen and heard tonight, a light in our world. Tonight, we have the opportunity to give and support the incredible core members and assistants you have met on screen. Each year, we rely on the generosity of a wide community of supporters like you to fill the gap between state funding and the financial resources needed to make a holistic, high-quality life possible for L'Arche core members. From everyday needs like literal fuel for our travels, new sheets for our beds, and seeds and plants for our gardens, to big things like accessible vans, roof repairs, and healthcare for assistants, your generous donations provide a rich and fulfilling home life for core members and make L'Arche the beautiful community that it is. So on the screen and in the chat below, you will see a link to our donation page. So check the chat and you'll see that link there. There's a few different types of gifts that you can give. You could make a one-time gift, a recurring gift, or best of all, a multi-year pledge. So those who choose to make a multi-year pledge starting at $1,000 a year are welcomed into what we call our Heart of L'Arche Society. I do want to take this moment to acknowledge so many of the Heart of L'Arche Society members that are with us tonight enlisted in your program. There are over 125 individuals and families that are our stronghold every month and year. Knowing we have your support allows us to plan and invest in our future. For many of you here tonight, making a $1,000 ongoing donation is a big stretch. For others, you may have the ability to make an even bigger gift. We want you to know every size gift is needed. Our community asks that you consider making your best gift to L'Arche during this time. Thank you in advance for helping bring life to the compassionate care and transformational relationships you see lived out every day in L'Arche. Without your partnership, the work of L'Arche would not be possible. And as we give you some time to consider how you can make an impact, we'd like to share the song, This Little Light of Mine, performed by our community members.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Woo!
Okay.
Okay.
That's the end of our program for tonight.
That's the end. We hope you're leaving feeling a little more of the light L'Arche offers and knowing that you are part of that light too.
Thank you for being with us, and we hope to see you soon. Let your light shine.
As Laurie said, we hope to see you again soon. The best way to get updates on chances to connect is by signing up for our newsletter, which you can do on our website. You'll receive invitations to things such as our retreats and prayer nights that happen every month, parties, and advocacy community opportunities. On behalf of all of us, thank you for your support and thank you for being with us. So a tradition that we have for send-offs in our community is singing the blessing song. And we opened with a prayer from Deborah, and now we want to invite Deborah and Anna again, if you will please do us the honor of singing the blessing song.
Ready, Deb?
May the blessing of the Lord be upon you. We bless you in the name of the Lord. May the blessing of the Lord be upon you. We bless you in the name of the Lord.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Amen.
everyone. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Amen.
Good night. Amen. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Fritz, do you have anything to say?
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Fritz. Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Hey, Sally! Sally, man.
We take a piece tomorrow. Hey.
Have a good night, Hazel. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being with us.
Call you. I'll call you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Gracias, Johnny.
Hey, man.
Just gracias.
Hey.